Welcome to SveNFL.
What's up, y'all?
It's Jonathan Rollins.
Schif Musara.
Two Americans living in Sweden talking about football.
Let's go.
Skip's showing that Georgia mug that you love, or a thermos.
This weekend is the weekend that you circle every year on the calendar as a Georgia football fan, because this weekend is the largest outdoor cocktail party in the world. Georgia versus Florida in Jacksonville.
Y'all gonna beat the shit out of Florida.
I certainly hope so. Hope so.
Miami looks like dog shit.
Yeah, they did.
Lost to
I saw that. I
don't even want to talk about it.
Georgia had a bye week last weekend, so I watched a lot of teams that I don't normally watch, and I saw some bad football this past weekend on Saturday. It was
There's a lot of bad football from what I watch.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. At least the Dolphins won. So a lot of weekends lately, it's been both teams losing, and it just sucks, man. It's like nothing. And the Heat aren't playing. You know what I'm saying? Now the Heat are playing, but like, you know, it's those bad sports weekends, that hurts.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, man. But week 8 is here.
It is.
And you know, I have less of a picture than I thought I would have by now of what the NFL is, man.
Especially the NFC, to be honest.
Yeah. And I have to it's like I feel like I have to cleanse myself of old thoughts and like look at it with fresh eyes. Yeah. And this is when I'll start this week. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Scoring is down.
Yeah, man.
I also read some crazy stat regarding the margin of error in games this year.
Okay. What do you mean margin? What do they mean by that?
Not margin of error, margin of victory. The average margin of victory this season has been 8.9 points. Which means that it's been a lot of close games.
8.9? That sounds like
I
wouldn't call it so close. Right? You don't see many spreads that high.
Well, it says here the report read said that the only other year where it was below 10 points was 1932.
Oh shit!
When the Bears opened with 3 straight scoreless ties and still managed to win the NFL championship.
There were 4 teams in the league?
Yeah, they were playing in a parking lot.
Oh, man.
Let's see. We got some news stuff. First of all, a bit of a notice to everyone. We have a London game this week. The Jags will be playing the Broncos.
Fantasy players.
Yeah.
But nobody has any players on their teams. From the Jags
here's the thing. If you have any Jags or Broncos on your team, you have bigger problems. So the game starts at 2:30 Stockholm time. And also we here in Europe will be setting our clocks back on Saturday night. But America is they're always a week behind us because we're such trendsetters over
here. We're progressive.
So that means that all of the games this week, except for the Thursday game, will be starting an hour earlier than usual. So the early window will start at 6 p.m. and the bourbon window starts around 9-ish. So
that's just so great.
It helps you to kind of plan. Because, for me on Sunday, like my whole Sunday revolves around like, what am I making for dinner and what time does the game start?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And we got to get our bed in too.
Yeah, exactly.
We got to remember to do that.
So, so that's a little heads up there. In other news.
One good thing. Those that want to follow our betting journey can, we put it all on Patreon. So it's patreon.com/SveNFL to get all of our betting stuff. It's some, you can use it as tips if you want and follow what we do. And just make this money like we doing, man.
Or do the opposite of what we do. You can dive in, watch the tape, dive in and see how right we are. I would love it if somebody would tell us how good are we actually at predicting this? Because I never really keep track of these things.
I mean, our account shows that we're average.
I know.
Our bank account when the money.
God,
When
I don't
we
like
end
the
up with
sound of that. I don't want to be average. I want to be exceptional. What the fuck?
We pulled it out and impressed nobody.
Nice. Let's see. In the news department, obviously, we all know that Christian McCaffrey got traded to the 49ers for a bunch of draft picks, none of which were first rounders. The Panthers got a second, a third, and a fourth round pick for the 2023 draft, as well as a fifth rounder for the 2024 draft.
Okay. Feels like a good haul.
Yeah, it's good for the Panthers. For those I mentioned this in the last episode, for those of you who think that this puts the 49ers in win now, Super Bowl or bust mode, I honestly do not get it. There's a lot of articles out there saying this, and I've seen things like, here's a quote from one of the articles: if you set Jimmy G aside, this team has some of the best skill position pieces in the NFL. Well, here's the thing. I do not set Jimmy G aside, and nor does the team that's playing against him on the field. They don't set him aside. They put him in the fucking dirt.
Maybe the 49ers should set him aside.
I mean, I just, they keep talking about the fact, like, yeah, I get it. I'm amazed that in the last several years, they've been as successful as they have been in the playoffs, given that Jimmy G is their quarterback. But it's like, please don't tell me. And then, of course, I mentioned this on the Facebook page. It's like you throw in the injuries. I mean, it's easy to think that all teams have injuries because they do, but the 49ers and the Ravens actually have like a historic issue regarding injuries that cannot go ignored. And I don't understand why, but it is what it is. I looked this up. They have this stat that you can follow. Most games lost. It's a statistical resource that tracks games lost to injury. The 2022 49ers have been the most impacted team by injuries when accounting for the quality of their injured players. But according to PFF, they're also the most injured NFL team over the last decade.
Damn.
Maybe and now
trainers, maybe they don't stretch enough.
And now they're out there throwing away all their picks to get a running back who.
Yeah, it seems dumb.
I mean, you got to say it. It appears to be injury prone.
And going to the most injury prone team in the league.
I mean, I'm not saying that's what I'm rooting for. I'm just like pointing out the facts,
Yeah.
Anyway, it is what it is. There's a few other trades. The Ravens signed wide receiver Deshaun Jackson. I mean, this guy's obviously known for being able, supposedly, he's there to essentially take the top off of the defense, but he never does that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know how much that's going to help. What
the fuck are they thinking?
The Jets, after losing Breece Hall to a season-ending ACL injury, have traded with the Jaguars for running back James Robinson. So we'll see. I don't know.
Wait.
I mean,
James Robinson from the Jaguars is going to the Jets?
Correct.
That's not bad.
That's a good pickup for them.
Why'd they give him up?
Because Travis Etienne is basically their guy.
Nice. It seems like a win for both. The Jets might not fall off as much as people thought.
Yeah.
What did they get for him?
I'm not really sure, actually, because it's very new. It just dropped this morning, so I don't think the terms of the deal have been released yet. But it's probably draft picks.
Jets
would be my guess.
Moves.
Jets are not fucking around, man. They had a great draft, and now this. So
yeah, man. They got a bunch of receipts too. They could.
Oh yeah, they got some receipts. Yeah, they should get themselves a little folder so they can put those receipts. You don't want to lose your receipts, bro. You don't want to lose them.
They're counting.
As I mentioned in the last episode, Matt Ryan shoulder injury, but the Colts have made it clear that Matty Wheels will be benched for the remainder of the season. Sam Ellinger will take over.
Shoulder and an ego injury.
Yeah. We'll see how well that goes. The we're still awaiting, the trade deadline. I mean, by the next time you hear us, the trade deadline will have come and gone. And there's a lot of interesting pieces out there. So we don't really know what's going to happen there. Obviously, the Packers are in the market for a wide receiver. I mean, they have to do something. They have to do something.
Aren't they allergic?
Have to. They got to do something, man. I mean, Brandon Cooks has made it clear that he wants out of Houston. They could go after him.
Yeah. Don't the Jets have somebody? Denzel Mims, right?
Denzel Mims wants out too. Who else? There's another guy who's
Deshaun Jackson. Maybe the Packers could take the top off.
Elijah Moore.
That's what it is. Not Mims. Elijah Moore.
Elijah Moore. Mims played in the place of Elijah Moore, who was talking shit, and they benched him. We'll see. I don't know.
Why didn't the Packers go after Robbie Anderson?
I don't know.
Man, they are really.
I don't know.
It's time to put Jordan Love in and see what they got, man. You just got to. Wow, the Packers are just fumbling.
There's a here's another interesting news item that dropped this past week. We won't see it until next year, but Prime Video has announced that they will stream a Black Friday NFL game in 2023.
What,
Black
HBCU?
Friday? No, NFL game. Oh yeah. So Black Friday is the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you Swedes here who think that Black Friday is a week instead of a day, because in Sweden they do Black Week, which is a little weird when you see those posters around town. It's like, really?
And it's like 4% off.
Yeah, exactly.
Should I explain real quick what Black Friday is?
Yes.
They call it Black Friday because all companies, because everybody begins, because we have Thanksgiving, people begin their shopping. So basically on that day, no company's in the red, which means losing money because everybody's shopping. So then you're in what they call the black, which means you're making money. So that's why they call it Black Friday, because that was the day everybody starts Christmas shopping. Everybody's off of work and school on that Friday. So everybody goes shopping, and companies tend to be in the black. That's why it's called Black Friday.
It's contrary to popular belief. It is not a day where it is legal to kill black people with no repercussions. It has nothing to do with that.
That's Purge Tuesday.
So don't do that. Only the police are allowed to do that.
Damn, Skip, that one hurt. It was Black Friday, man.
Yeah. So the first ever NFL Black Friday game will take place on Friday, November 24th, 2023. Expected kickoff will be around 3 p.m. So for us, that means we'll be getting a what? What time is that? 9 o'clock? That'll be a 9 o'clock game for us on a Friday night over here in Sweden. Obviously, they'll announce who's going to play in that game when the schedule drops.
But
what do you think?
The time have changed already in the U.S.?
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
But what do you think? Good idea, bad idea? Black Friday NFL game. What's your take?
I feel like whenever they do that, they water down Sundays, man. The more games they do this for, it makes Sunday not as, because you're going to have some dud games every week. So the more games you take away from Sunday, then the less fun the Sundays are going to be.
Right, because there'll still be 3 games on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving's going to take away 3 games, and then it's like, now we got, and then you got bye weeks. So you're going to have some, you're taking a chance, man. The NFL is spreading itself thin. It's still going to only be like 14 games played or whatever.
I would say from an American fan perspective, I kind of like this idea because
I like the football every day would be great for me.
It's the day after Thanksgiving. You got all these leftovers in the house.
You don't want to go shopping? You got an excuse now?
Yeah, you can kick back and watch the game. From a Swedish perspective, I like it too, man. It's like you get a Friday night 9 o'clock game.
Yes,
hell that's cool.
Maybe we could do that one. We could broadcast that one.
Yeah, it'd be fun as hell. I'm totally
we can get
down
together and commentate on the game.
That would be really cool, actually. Be curious. We say that now before they announce who's playing. We'll see.
But yeah, that'll be fun.
Another big deal, no big deal question refs asking for Mike Evans' autograph. Have you seen this story?
I did not see that.
So cameras captured these two sideline refs asking for Mike Evans' autograph after the Bucks Panthers game. This is obviously against the rules from a league perspective.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the referees are forbidden from it's sort of this. It's just not a good look for them, I guess.
So what about that time that ref did a jersey swap with Tom Brady when they were
right after the first quarter?
Yeah, it was bogus.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that it's why it doesn't look good.
Yeah, especially now that there's gambling.
Why you wouldn't want to encourage this. But I'm not here for the conspiracy stuff. I mean, they got curb stomped by the Panthers.
Yeah,
this is happening after the game. It's not like they gave them any good favorable cause that helped them win the game. But a lot of people are talking about it, and the league is going to investigate it.
Watch it be like my kid has a terminal illness.
Right,
you're the favorite player.
He should lead with that.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry, it was my one chance, and
I did it for the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, oops. Then the league will be like, we're gonna have a Make-A-Wish month, in November
now. The last little chunk of news is a bit of a chunk. The NFL owners had their fall meeting this past week. A few interesting tidbits came out of that. One was that, we've talked about this on the podcast many times before. There was a huge lawsuit from the city of St. Louis against Stan Kroenke and the Rams. Stan Kroenke, when he was attempting to coerce the owners to vote for the Rams to move to Los Angeles, he said, "Don't worry about it. If we get sued, I'll pay the bill." And then when he got sued for $1 billion,
what are we going to do about this, guys?
He suddenly was like, "Hey, so remember that thing I said? Not so much." It appears that they kind of, in some ways, they met him halfway a little bit. So of the settlement, I think the settlement, $790 million settlement, was awarded to the city of St. Louis. To the city of St. Louis. Okay. And now it's been decided by the NFL owners that Stan Kroenke will foot the bill for $571 million. And the rest of the money will be coming from the NFL's other 31 teams. Damn. So that's how they did
Imagine that negotiation. He's like, come on, man. I got $500 million. They're like $600 million. All right, $550. $570. 571.
Yeah.
That's it. 571. That's my final offer, y'all.
Yeah, but the main story that basically dominated the owners coming together was the situation with Dan Snyder and the Washington Commanders, which we have spoken about many times. Probably the most fascinating angle of this was given that it was Colts owner Jim Irsay, who was the first owner to step out and publicly say, "This dude has to go."
Shout out
Colts
to him.
Irsay told reporters that it's time. He said, quote, "It's a difficult situation. I believe that there's merit to remove him as the owner of the Commanders. I think it's something that we have to review. We have to look at all the evidence and be thorough in going forward. But I think it's something that has to be given serious consideration." And then he said, "As we determine the evidence and move forward, we'll have to determine what the situation is. I think once owners talk amongst each other, they'll arrive to the right decision. Unfortunately, I believe that's the road we probably need to go down, and we just need to finish the investigation."
Jim Irsay's out here like, "Yo, man, my skeletons are out."
Yeah, which for those of you who don't know, and that was kind of where I was headed. Before we get to how the Commanders responded, you'd be a little remiss not to offer a little context regarding Jim Irsay. This is a dude who in 2014 was suspended by the NFL when he was caught driving like a madman around Indianapolis with a garbage bag full of $20,000 in cash and a buttload of prescription pills. On top of that, all of this happened only days after the funeral of a woman who was supposedly Jim Irsay's mistress, who overdosed and died in her home, which just so happened to be purchased for her by a financial trust controlled by the Indianapolis Colts. Now, you can obviously look at this in one of two ways. You could say, who the hell is Jim Irsay to pipe up and say some shit like this? Like, who elected him to be the moral compass? Valid position. Or you could look at this and say, shit, if Jim Irsay thinks Snyder needs to go, given this dude's track record, that's saying something. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Of course, the Commanders responded in the way that you would think they would. They said, oh, it's highly inappropriate, but not surprising that Mr. Irsay opted to make statements publicly based on falsehoods in the media. So they're playing that card. We'll see how it goes. We can kind of leave it at that, but we'll see how it plays out.
I hope to goodness they get rid of this guy.
Okay. And then finally, I want to end on a feel-good note.
Thank you, Skip.
Okay.
Yeah,
because that just feels good. The owners. Every time I talk about the owners, I feel like I've been violated. You know what I mean? It just makes me feel dirty. So I want to end with a beautiful, like kind of a historical rest in peace type of moment.
Okay.
Right. And I'm talking about a guy named Charlie Trippi. Okay. He's the only NFL Hall of Famer with 1,000 passing yards, 1,000 rushing yards, and 1,000 receiving yards.
Whoa.
Okay. This guy died this past week at the brilliant age of 100. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Now, let me tell you a little bit about Charlie Trippi. And yeah, I'll admit it. I saw the story and I didn't pay any attention to it for a couple of days. And then finally I clicked on it and I got super pumped because I realized that this is my man, former Bulldog, Charlie Trippi. That's right. Had no idea he played for the Bulldogs.
Oh, okay.
But here's the thing. His story is phenomenal. Charlie Trippi is a man whose NFL accomplishments will never be replicated, ever. Okay? He was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1959, Pro Football Hall of Fame in 68. Super multi-talented dude. He played quarterback, halfback, defensive back, punter, kick returner. He won national championship with the Bulldogs in 1942. Which was the last time we won before the one we won in the 80s. His college career was interrupted only because he had to go off and fight in World War II.
I was just reading that, like, what the fuck?
Right. Also a legitimate Major League Baseball prospect during his time with the Bulldogs. Wow. But Trippi ultimately decided that baseball was stupid and correctly chose football. Going first in the NFL draft, the 1945 NFL draft. He goes first overall to the Chicago Cardinals. Okay. He was part of this, what was nicknamed the $1 Million Backfield, with a 1947 stat line of 401 rushing yards, 240 receiving yards, 49 passing yards, 321 kick return yards, 141 punt return yards, and 59 interception yards. It was a different game back then.
Yeah,
his coach for the Bulldogs back in those days, good old Wally Butts. He had a very basic philosophy, and he said, quote, if you can't play defense, you can't play offense. Charlie Trippi led the Chicago Cardinals to victory in 1947 NFL championship against the Philadelphia Eagles. Reportedly, he was wearing tennis shoes on an icy Chicago field when Trippi had a 44-yard touchdown run and a 75-yard punt return for a TD, the 28-21 victory.
Wow.
In his 9 years with the Cardinals, this guy ran for 3,506 yards. Damn. He threw for 2,547 yards, and he amassed 1,321 yards in pass receptions. He was named to the 1940s All-Decade Team and remains one of only 4 players to have his number retired at Georgia. Jim Thorpe, considered one of America's greatest all-around athletes, said that Charlie Trippi was, quote, the greatest football player I have ever seen. End quote.
Wow. Better than Michael Vick, huh?
You know what's funny? And I'll post this on the Facebook page. You look at these old black and white clips of Charlie Trippy.
Looks like Vick.
When he goes out, he reminds you of Michael Vick, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, all of it. Like you hike the ball to him, he drops back to pass. The D line is all over him. He runs to the left, he turns around, runs to the right, and he'll either take off downfield or chuck it downfield. It's like we like to think of these quarterbacks that we see today as something new and different, but in all honesty, given what was expected of the quarterback position back in those days, we're actually just seeing a resurgence of something that existed,
mobile quarterback,
years ago. Because even back then, too, a lot of times the quarterbacks were expected to be the punter as well.
Oh yeah, because they did a lot more kicking back when the sport started.
Mm-hmm.
It was like scrum kick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was cool, man. That was a feel good story, man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So
that's what sets us apart from other football media. Stories like that, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Charlie Trippy.
Shout out to Charlie.
He's the real MVP.
Wait, I gotta find it, man. Damn.
Yeah.
You the real MVP.
You gotta say it all like
it's my quarterback.
Run through a motherfucker face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you don't have to worry about him no more.
That's my quarterback. That's my running back. That's my receiver. That's my punt returner. Motherfucker did everything.
Everything except for
great cash, homie.
Because they were not getting paid.
That is very true. Yeah.
All right, man. You ready to get this flipping picking going?
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Skip's flipping. The current setup right now, or the current you're down by 10, bro. It's 54-64 this season, unless I've counted something wrong. I don't know. But I think you have the same. See. Yeah, you got the same thing. You're keeping the analog. I'm keeping the digital. Skip's flipping, and we're ready to go.
He's going to cheat and
pretend he won.
I'm going to find some underdogs in here. I'm calling it. You always call tails. I'm calling heads.
Oof.
Oh, snap. It's heads. George Washington staring me right in the face.
You going first?
Eesh. Yeah. I think I will go first. Okay. I think I will go first. I'm going to go first. Thursday Night Football this week. First game of the week. We got Baltimore Ravens versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Two teams that are struggling. Two teams that are struggling to really meet expectations. But in the end, I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson. I think the Ravens are going to win this game.
Oof. Okay. I'm going to say Jacksonville is going to beat the Denver Broncos to continue the fire Nathaniel Hackett surgeons or chants out there.
That's our London game, y'all. Don't forget that. Starts at 2:30 on Saturday.
2:30.
Right. Next up, we got the game you've all been waiting for. Division rivalry. Carolina Panthers versus the thoroughly plucked Atlanta Falcons as of last week. This one, before last week, I would have said Falcons for sure.
Come on, Skip.
And I am going to say that this week. The Falcons are going to win. I think, again, for coach fired thing, I feel like lost running back, whatever you want to call it.
Regress to the mean.
The Panthers got their win last week, their unexpected win, and the Falcons are going to come out and get this dub. Let's go Falcons!
I'm going to say the Dallas Cowboys are going to beat the Bears handily.
What? After what they just did to the Patriots?
They cannot do that to the Cowboys.
I hope Dak Prescott knows that thing that I brought up about Like when there's too many bears in one place at the same time, like you should, like, don't send CD Lamb into a room full of bears. Just don't do it. It's not a good idea. Oh snap! Look at this game falling right into my lap. These Miami Dolphins.
Oof.
These Miami Dolphins going up against these Detroit Lions. This is I gotta say, this is a sneaky, scary game to me, where you have two teams that are a little unpredictable. But at the end of the day, I believe that Tua will improve this week. I think he was a little rusty last week. I think he'll be better this week. And on paper and in reality, the Dolphins have way too many weapons.
Yeah.
The Dolphins are going to win this game.
Yeah. All right. Vikings are playing the Cardinals. They're playing in Minnesota.
Minnesota's coming off a bye week.
Minnesota's coming off a bye week. The Cardinals have arguably the worst coach in the NFL. However, I'm going for the upset.
Oh,
I think the Cardinals are going to beat the Vikings. I think the Vikings are a soft-ass 5-1, even though they're the best team in that division. And I think the Cardinals have DeAndre Hopkins. He's going to have his second game to come out. I think the Cardinals, people are going to start thinking they're for real after this game.
Man, I did not expect you to be throwing them stones like that. Shit.
Yeah, man.
Okay. And next up is an easy one. Josh Jacobs is an absolute fucking beast. The Raiders are going to steamroll the New Orleans Saints. Fuck the Saints.
Man, it's going to be Robinson's debut on the Jets. But I think the Patriots are going to beat the Jets this game. I think Bill losing 2 in a row is not often it happens. It's been happening more lately, but I think the Patriots are going to win this game.
I'll take them Jets.
Yeah.
I'll take them. Man, going first turned out to be a smart move. Philadelphia Eagles versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Are you fucking kidding me? Who are the 7% of the people that think the Steelers are going to win this game? I want to meet them. And I want to shun
fly
them.
to Pittsburgh because that's where they live.
And I want to shun them and make them feel like, mentally inferior to the rest of the world who thinks clearly, because this is not going to happen. The Eagles are going to curb stomp these motherfucking Steelers.
It's so ironic to stumble over the words mentally inferior. I
know. I was searching for how I was going to finish that sentence, and it was all coming to me like...
The irony is funny. All right, the Titans are playing the Texans. It's a division game. And...
I can tell in the tone.
Davis Mills is going to show us how upsets go, because he's going to be upset that he lost to the Tennessee Titans.
I like that. That was a nice, that was a nice little twist there.
A little misdirection.
Yeah, a little misdirection. So I assume you're going Titans then.
Yeah. Titans are going to win this game.
Let's see here. Ooh. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Bro, this is the real Carson Wentz revenge game. Am I right? Oh, wait, he's not playing. He's not playing.
From the bench.
Oh, they've robbed us of the Carson Wentz revenge game. That's so upsetting.
Yeah.
Okay. Indianapolis Colts, they have benched Matt Ryan. Sam Ellinger, is that right? He's going in?
Yeah.
And yet 70% of you idiots think that the Colts are going to figure out a way to right this ship. I guess in a way, it's like, okay, the rest of the team is going to have to, let's be fair. It's not all Matt Ryan's fault, right?
All right.
The team is probably feeling like, shit, we got our quarterback benched. You would think they would come out and play the game of their lives. That being said, this Taylor Heineke connection to what's his name, Terry McLaurin, and the way he got it cooking against some of the other receivers, that running back duo they have. Jonathan Taylor ain't been shit this year. No twist here. I'm calling the upset. Let's go Washington Commanders taking down the Colts.
Man, going for the upset on that one. All right. I can't believe it's an upset. People are weird. I think the Rams 49ers are always exciting games, and the 49ers seem to have their number during the season, but injuries are catching up to them, and the Rams coming off a bye week. I think that's the only reason they're going to win this. I think Sean McVay tends to adjust and figure out what his team is and do the right things. So this is when it starts for the Rams. It's going to run, baby. Rams got this one.
It is weird how Shanahan seems to have McVay's number. But I agree with you. I have a hard time seeing them losing this game, especially off a bye week. Next up, this is a sneaky, tricky game that I didn't expect to be so much of a coin toss. You got the 6-1 New York Giants going up against the 4-3 NFC West.
The class of
leading,
the NFC.
Class of the NFC West. Gino out here refusing to write back. They're playing in Seattle too, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to roll with Gino on this one.
Ooh. Nice. I think it's a smart call. I said the same. I think, Aaron Rodgers is going to continue this nightmare. And the Buffalo Bills are going to beat the cheese out of the Packers, man.
I read somewhere that this is the first time in Aaron Rodgers' career where he's playing a game where the other team is favored by double digits.
Oh, wow.
I think they've given the Bills like -10. Like they got a 10-point.
Oh, wow. They're favored by 10.
Favored by 10. Crazy.
Oh, man. Then we got and that's Sunday Night Football.
Sunday Night Football, baby. Whew. Look at these brownies, 8%. Oh, brownies. I mean, we've talked about this. Obviously, the Browns winning is better for our bet.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do, man. I feel like every week there is some kind of a weird outlier type game that it goes a way that you don't expect. It happened on Monday Night Football last week. Nobody thought the Bears were going to beat the Patriots, right?
All right.
Since I'm so far behind at the moment,
and
I need this upset to come through, I'm going to roll with my man, former Bulldog, Nick Chubb, Cleveland Browns upsetting the Cincinnati Bengals on Monday Night Football primetime.
I can't believe it. All right, man. That's our picks. You can follow our betting journey. We're going to make some bets later. We're going to make a Thursday night parlay, and then we're going to do our Sunday, Monday bets. So you can follow that at SveNFL. I'm sorry. I always say that too. Patreon.com/SveNFL. But we got another one in the books, man. That's our predictions for week 8. And it's time to go, man. Thank y'all for checking this episode out. It's been Jonathan Rollins.
Schif Mizara.
And we will catch y'all next time. Peace.
Later, y'all.